Hello and welcome to episode number 14 of Supercalifragilistic. My name is Christian Rauchenwald, and in this vlog slash podcast I'm documenting my journey of building $1 million company from scratch. Progress reports on that are always on the Sunday episodes. During the week we talk about things I've learned and things I think you should know. Today we're going to talk about George C. Parker, a con man who lived roughly 100 years ago, from 1860 till 1963 to be precise. And he's famous because he coined the phrase, if you believe that, I got a bridge to sell you. So why are we talking about a con man? It's simple. A lot of people, once they get to the point where they at least are willing to start something on their own, they usually reach a point where they start saying things like, why should anybody buy that? I don't have any ideas. Yeah. And I like the example of George C. Parker because it shows that you can sell anything. While it obviously is illegal to sell stuff that you do not own, even there are buyers for. He sold the Brooklyn Bridge, I think 2 or 3 times in total, and some other public monuments as well. And there were people, let's say, naive enough to buy them. Yeah. In fact, the police had to remove some of his buyers from the Brooklyn Bridge when they were trying to install toll booths because they thought now it's their bridge. So the point being, you can sell everything. Obviously, you should do it from a moral standpoint of only selling things you own and only selling things that you actually think provide value. If you're selling stuff that doesn't provide value, you may make money short term, but it will ruin your reputation, and long term you will not have success. It's almost impossible. There may be a few exceptions who with their scams made so much money that they don't have to make additional money, but on average for 99.9% of the cases, if you're selling crap, you will not be successful. You may have a short period of success, but it will not last. Yeah. So that gets us actually to another point, or back to the original topic. Let's say it like that. A lot of people really are like, okay, I want to do something on my own. I'm stuck in my job, and maybe doing something online is the solution. But what is it that I should sell? And they try to invent something brand new. Yeah, which is totally wrong. It's simple. If you are not somebody like, I don't know, Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, to have a great idea and put everything on one card and hope that your idea will change the world, yeah, which is very risky. The easiest way to start your business is to do what other people do. Yeah. Now, of course, if you start to sell iPhones tomorrow, you will have a lot of competition. But every product you buy causes follow-up problems. So, for example, if you are looking for opportunities to sell, you actually are looking for a niche, yeah. But you start that niche based on a huge market. So there's a huge market for iPhones. So what could have been that niche? Not today, but years ago, it would be protective cases for the phone, screen protectors for the phone, maybe different headphones compared to the original iPhone headphones. Yeah, even for things like the AirPods, which have a perfect case already, there was a follow-up problem. People were worried that the case might get scratches. So a company or multiple producers came up with protective cases for a protective case, and people are buying them. Yeah, I don't know how much they are, maybe $10, maybe $50. In production, those rubber protections for the AirPods are probably cents. Yeah, so the thing is, you don't have to have your own idea. Yeah, so, and if you ever have doubts, why would somebody buy that thing that you are producing, just think of it in a way there are people buying public monuments because they're not smart enough to realize that it's not for sale. Yeah. And there are also people who buy any kind of thing. For example, let's take a topic that's let's call it polarized. Yeah, like homesteading. People who kind of build their own bunkers and buy conserved canned food and stuff like that. So to be prepared for the next World War, for example. Yeah. While the majority of people probably looks at them and thinks they're slightly lunatics. Yeah. There is a huge community. There's a huge amount of people. The total amount of people, I don't know how many, but it's sure way more than a couple hundred thousands that are like doing that are like doing homesteading, like figuring out how to survive without your supermarket, like growing your own food and stuff like that. And I don't know, like surviving without gas stations, or I don't know what, but I'm not into homesteading, so I don't know every detail. But the point is, well, for most people, it's something that doesn't make sense and probably is like a little odd, yeah. There is a huge customer base around it. So you could simply come up with a product for that audience. Yeah, you wouldn't be competing against like the major markets of like, I don't know, electronics and I don't know what else there is. Or like a lot of people start to do drop shipping for clothing or stuff like that. You would have like your small niche market, but with couple 100,000 potential customers. So if you come up with a product for them, it actually fits perfect. There's another example, like for example, there's like, or in the US there's like a huge Shopify seller who had like a flashlight in stock that simply did not sell. Yeah. So he created a sales funnel for it and suddenly it sold. And what he did, like on page 1, you buy the flashlight. On page 2, it's like, you know what, if you buy a second one, you get a discount. Yeah, and who needs 2 flashlights? But apparently people wanted a second one. On page 3, it's like, we also have a protective case for your 2 flashlights. So you see, the thing is like, every product and service you provide needs to solve a problem. For example, my exclusive Inner Circle Facebook group, which will launch within the next 14 days, solves the problem that like people don't have to figure out how to use ClickFunnels, how to launch the ad campaigns and stuff like that, because I'm there to guide them. Yeah, so I solve a problem. I may create some follow-up problems with that, but then I can think about which follow-up problems that are and provide another product for that to further monetize. Yeah, and but while also not just while getting money or making money for me, but while solving additional problems, therefore providing value to the customers. Yeah. If you, I don't know, if you look at the market for microphones or for like mobile streamers or something, there's stuff like this. Now, as you can see, I have some rubber bands attached here. So a potential product would be some kind of mount that is like shock absorbing, but yeah, like doesn't require to attach rubber bands. Yeah, and still allows some, how to say, adjustment of the microphone. Actually, what would be perfect, what really is like a problem that I see, when I have this thing mounted on the gimbal, and I put the gimbal down because I want to like film at an angle, suddenly the microphone points at the floor and it's not focused on the audio source anymore, like what I want to, the audio I want to record. So if somebody were to create a gimbal just for the microphone, so even if I put the gimbal down so the phone goes into an angle that the microphone still stays pointed forward, it would be a great product. It would probably be cheap in production. Maybe something already exists. I don't know. I haven't found anything like that. But it would be cheap in production and you could sell it for at least $20, $30 because it would solve a huge problem. Or like, yeah, it would solve a problem most streamers, from outdoor streamers, don't even know that they have because they don't think that there's a solution for it. But you could sell it easily and then you could upsell instantly like the perfect microphone that works best with it or has the best weight balance or I don't know, yeah. So yeah, like, so whenever you like, once you reach the step, yeah, of figuring out or at least deciding that you should do something on the side or start your business to make a little bit more money and finally become financially independent and free, yeah, you're gonna encounter like, what am I gonna do? And you're gonna encounter everything already exists. What should I like invent? And then you need to realize you do not need to invent something. If you invent something, it means you invest a lot of time, but you do not know if the market is going to buy it. Yeah. So what you do is like you pick some certain niche or product area where a lot of people are already buying something, and then you figure out a follow-up problem. So if you take, for example, protein powder, you could create like an ebook about like I don't know, like perfect protein intake for whatever, like for every workout plan or something like that, like an ebook that highlights how much protein you should take if you work out twice per week, if you work out 3 times per week, if you work out every day per week, yeah. And there would be a market for that. Probably maybe something like that already exists, but it's not very popular, which means you don't have a lot of competition with advertising, yeah, which means it's easy for you to monetize. And once you have that, whatever, protein intake PDF, yeah, so you would advertise it like, grab your free protein intake guide, and then on the next page you would probably already sell them, by the way, here's the protein we recommend. And while it may not be your protein, you don't have to start protein production. You look for a protein that you can truly recommend, where you know like it's not garbage, yeah, and check if they have an affiliate program. So you get people to your page, you get their email address, so you can promote other stuff to them later without paying for advertising. And they get your free ebook, which provides value to them. So they got something that's actually valuable to them. And then you show them, by the way, that's the protein we recommend. It works best with our intake plan, and best if you want to do this, or if you like want to build muscle, gain weight, lose weight, whatever. Yeah. And then they simply click on a button, or they then automatically are redirected to the page where they can buy the protein through your affiliate link, and suddenly you will earn commission on the protein. Obviously, when it comes to affiliate market, I'm the biggest fan of like lifetime commission, yeah, because it simply makes you more money, especially if you promote services that are really valuable. But even if you promote things against one-time commission, as long as you collect the email on the way, yeah, you always can remarket other things to the people without having to pay for them to like reach them again, yeah. So whenever you hit the spot of like not knowing what to do, simply try to figure out a follow-up problem from a popular product. Weight loss is a huge industry. Physical workout, physical training is like a huge industry. Electronics is a huge industry. Streaming, video processing, like a million different things are a huge industry, yeah. And then you figure out a follow-up problem that you are able to solve, and then either you put your own products behind it, or you figure out like, has somebody solved it already, and you can promote it and make money with that, yeah. If you're stuck in an earlier stage, if you're like wondering how to make money online, I got on a video about that as well, explaining the different ways that there are at the moment to make money online, and going through the pros and cons of it. I will link it in the description below, and probably like somewhere up here, yeah, like somewhere in the corner. And yeah, that's gonna help you to figure out like what kind of business you may start. But yeah, once you start it, you probably will run into the issues of like, nobody's gonna buy this, or I wouldn't buy that, yeah. But just because you wouldn't buy that, it doesn't mean that there's not millions of other people buying that. I read a Facebook thread yesterday about YouTube ads, and one guy was insisting that it's a waste of money because he skips them all the time. And another guy simply posted a screenshot, well, that's my YouTube channel where I make $2,000 per month. Through advertising, because you skip them all the time, yeah, which means like, because there's enough other people who don't skip them. So just because you do something in a certain way, don't assume everybody is doing it like that. Just because, I mean, of course you have to believe in your product, yeah, but in the end, if there is like a market, a huge market that buys a certain service or product, and you identify a follow-up problem and solve it, there will be enough buyers. Maybe you wouldn't buy it, but in the end it's about that the customer loves the product, and not that you love it, because you may also not be part of that huge market you're marketing to, yeah, which is a very important thing to know, yeah. You should never fall in love with your product. If you fall in love with your product, you will not be able to like give up on a product if you figure out it doesn't work, and it's really difficult, yeah. Also, if you don't know what a follow-up problem could be, there's also a simple way. It's like, obviously everything is everything requires some work. Nothing worth having comes free or easy, yeah. But if you, for example, would wonder about what you could sell to yeah, like bodybuilders, well, go ahead, join some Facebook groups about bodybuilding, and simply ask there, what's your biggest issues with your workout schedule, or with this or with that, and some people will reply and tell you what's most annoying to them, and then you can create or try to figure out what would be a solution for that. Is there a service, an ebook, webinar, a product that I can create that will solve that problem. And because you already got the feedback from the people that that's their problem, there will be some of them that will be willing to buy it. Of course, there's a huge difference between people telling you that's a huge problem, it would be worth money to me to solve it, and people actually paying. But once you're in the market that you want to like jump out of and market to, and you ask the people what's their issue with this, their biggest problem with that, you will know what they are looking for. And even though it may not be a problem for you, you will see for other people it is a problem, and if you provide a solution, they will buy it. Look at it this way, like everybody, so I have an IT background, as you may know if you've seen some of the other episodes, so for me, there are not that many follow-up problems that come with buying a Windows computer or even a Mac. But then look at how many different courses and webinars are there that teach people how to set up their YouTube channel, how to create a banner, how to do this, how to do that. It's simply, if I would like go from what I know, there would be no market for that. Who would buy that? It's so easy, but because I don't do that, because I simply know it doesn't matter what I think or believe, it matters what the market thinks or believes. And there is a lot of people who are willing to spend time or pay money to learn about this. For example, everything I'm telling you in those videos is something I already know. And for me, a lot of those things really are like breathing. They just are like logical. For me, there is no other way to think about certain topics. But for the majority of people, they still are stuck in with a different kind of mindset. So for them, things like, well, rich people invest their time in books and poor people spend their time watching TV is kind of mind blown. For me, it's like something very natural. It wasn't always. I also was on the other side of that fence. But I read a lot and stuff like that and realized, there is some truth to it. And the same is with product development. Just because you wouldn't need that product because you know how it works, there may be a huge market willing to buy. And in the end, if you consider, I don't know, like I had a video like during the last 7 days where I talked about breaking down $1 million. If you think about that, you find, I don't have the numbers in my head, but well, let's say, so if you find 10 people that pay you $100,000, 100 people that pay you, actually, if you find 10,000 people that pay you $100, if I done it right now in my head, you would have $1 million. So now imagine there's 8 billion people on this planet, and all you need to do is come up with a $100 product, which could be a webinar, a course, or whatever, and get 1,000 people out of 8 billion to buy it. It cannot be that hard. Yes, it requires some advertising, and obviously the product needs to deliver a value, but it really isn't that hard. It requires effort, and when I say it really isn't that hard, what I mean is like compared to working the next 30, 40, 50, 60 years before you can retire for like a little retirement payment, it's effort worth putting in. Actually, a friend of mine, one of my mentees, shared a picture with me. I don't recall it like 100%, but it said like, it seems crazy to me that for people putting 2 to 5 years effort into their own business is too much work, but working the next 40 years, 40 hours per week for retirement is acceptable. And I'm totally on the same spot at the moment, because I'm creating or launching a new product called the exclusive Inner Circle Facebook group. I'm probably, I don't count, but estimating working at least 60 hours per week, but I don't see it as work. It's like every day I'm just like, okay, I get this done, I get this done. I just push forward to launch that product. And once it launched, I still will have work, yes, of course, with the product, because I'm gonna like mentoring people in that group. But I will also make money with it, and it will not be another point we talked about in yesterday's video. Poor people get paid for their time, like, I don't know, $10 per hour, $8 per hour, $20 per hour. Rich people get paid for results. So with that Facebook group, I will get paid for results. If I have 100 members, I will make a certain amount of money. If I don't provide value to those members, which means I don't provide results, they will not continue with the membership and will tell other people that it's not worth the money. If I provide value, so it's not about if I'm online 10 hours per day to support them, or if I'm only online 1 hour per day, if I manage in 1 hour per day to provide them with a huge amount of value that solves a lot of problem for them, they will happily keep continuing paying the membership fee. So I get paid for results. Yeah. And that also means if I manage within 1 hour, I'm not gonna try to do that in the beginning, of course, yeah, because I really want to provide a lot of value. But if I would try to and manage to provide value within 1 hour, I could spend the rest of the day working on other projects which make me even more money or extra income, you know. So again, let's sum it up. The first step is to figure out if or when you will start doing something on your own to become your own boss. If you're unsure about what to do, I encourage you to watch my How to Make Money Online video from, I don't know, like a week ago or something. I'll link it in the description below, or listen to the podcast version of it, of course. And the second thing then to do is like to figure out like what you want to sell, which service you want to provide. And don't be discouraged by the thought, I wouldn't buy that. Who would ever buy that? In fact, with ClickFunnels, there's a guy who sold a hunting trip to go hunt Bigfoot. And while his site is not online anymore, in the beginning, for the first 3 or 6 months, he made roughly $18,000 with those hunting trips. So for taking people to go hunt Bigfoot, he had like between $3,000 and $6,000 income per month for just like going for a hunting trip on a weekend. Yeah. So, and I would definitely think like, who's gonna buy that? But there are people even buying that. Yeah. So never forget, just because you wouldn't buy it, it doesn't mean that out of 8 billion people that there is not enough other people who are willing to spend their money on it. That said, yeah, go ahead and think about what you're gonna do with your life. If you're gonna work the next 30, 40, 50, 60 years, depending how old you are, to get a small retirement payment, or if you're gonna work hard and smart for the next couple of years and build something on your own. And whenever you are discouraged because you think nobody will buy, remember, with 8 billion people, there is for everything a certain amount of buyers there. Yeah. That said, thank you for watching. Leave your comments below. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye bye.